Hello, this is a little video tutorial on how to create a UDK mobile game, code-wise, from scratch. Um, Here I just installed Unreal Development Kit. You can see this, and I installed it to a directory called UDK-2010-12-tutorial right here. And so I'm going to go ahead and install UDK and open that folder in Explorer. Alright, so we're going to start by firing up Visual Studio. I'm using Visual Studio 2008 with nFringe. You don't have to. This is completely optional. Visual Studio is essentially just a convenience program. It offers better syntax highlighting than some of the other ones out there. Alright, so when you start Visual Studio and you have nFringe installed, you create a new project by clicking on this button up here, going through the File menu. You're going to want to select Unreal Engine 3 licensee project from the Visual Studio installed templates. Now, I'm going to hit Browse for the location of where I want to install this, and go to your install directory for UDK. Go to Development, SRC, and then hit OK. No trailing backslash. So we're going to name this project about my game, and be sure create directory for solution is unchecked. Hit OK, and it will create your project. My computer is a little slow, so here we go. Now after this, what you're going to want to do is immediately just exit out. At your desktop right now, open up the folder that you have in Explorer and go to the directory that you just installed that project to. And you will see that My Game folder is now created here. Right click on it and go Explore. Open it up in a new window, and you will see inside there are 3 files associated with your project. Just drag these files into the source directory and exit out of that folder and delete the folder that your project created, and because we're going to create that in just a second. Open back up your solution that you just created for the project. SUO files are also not needed at all. They generate whenever you launch the solution. Alright, so if you did this correctly, which you should have because it was really simple, you're going to see all of these folders in this source directory listed in here. As such, you'll have your classes for the core, engine, UT game. Alright, so right click on your project in the Solution Explorer, and if this is not being shown, just go to View and go to Solution Explorer, which is right here. Right click and go Add New Folder. We're going to name this folder My Game, hit Enter, and we're going to add another folder inside of that folder called Classes, just like all of these other ones are. So this folder will house all UC files associated with your game. As such, we're going to create classes for them right now. Add new item. Right here, I have just handy the classes that we're going to extend from. I'm just going to paste these in here. You can go back and look through them. So I'm going to name this one mygameinfo.uc, because you don't want to, for consistency reasons, you do not want to name any classes the same as the folder. So I'm going to change the name of this. Alright, so this is easily the most complex script in this basic game that we're making. Here is the tick function, which we're overriding, and technically framework game and any of the other classes this extends from doesn't have a tick function, but I guess this is exclusive to Unreal Engine. Every time the game updates, tick will be called. Now what this will do right here is it will broadcast to the screen. You'll see in the left side of the screen, game updated in, and then a time in milliseconds where it was updated. The $ will concat the two strings right here, and it will, this broadcast function displays it. Now we're going to change some of these default properties for your game info. You can see here we're changing the player controller class, which we'll create in just a second, as well as the pawn class and the Hud class. This folder name is actually, if you recall, it's my game. So let's go ahead and change this to my game. Do this for each one of these. So now when you compile your scripts, it's going to search in the my game folder, classes. It's going to search for mypc.uc, which if you were to try and compile that right now, it's not going to find it and it would fail. So let's go ahead and create these classes. mypc.uc. This is your player controller class. Let's go ahead and just extends from game player controller. Just paste this in there. Game player controller is a lot lower level than extending from UT game or the mobile game example that Epic has included. Next we're going to create my pawn. This will be the pawn that your player controller controls. We're going to extend from game pawn. There we go. And then finally we're going to create a HUD class, which extends from mobile HUD. Now, ironically, I didn't realize this at first, but mobile HUD is not a part of the mobile game that Epic included. You see they have an extended mobile HUD, but mobile HUD is actually in the game framework folder. So extending from mobile HUD is it's not a problem. You're not having any dependencies on the mobile game Epic has included. So here we have all of our classes, which are just really basic classes that extend from UDKs. Very basic classes they provide you. These two options right here, I forgot to explain what they are. This obviously these comments don't restart the level when the player dies, and this is for the warm-up. If your game has a warm-up, you don't have to wait, or you won't spawn as a spectator. Delete this comment because that's just what we did. Alright, so there's our classes. When the game, when it searches for my player controller inside of the folder called my game, it's going to find it. It's going to go into the classes folder. It's going to find the player controller right here. And of course, those are just text files. So let's go up directories until we get to the base or the root folder of your UDK installed. Next, let's go to the mobile game folder and let's set up the configs. So mobile game and go to the config folder. Now you're going to want to right off the bat delete mobileengine.ini and mobilegame.ini. These will be generated when you compile your scripts. So let's change default game.ini first. Here it opens up in WordPad. You can set it to open up in Visual Studio, it doesn't matter, but this is the config that Epic has set up for their mobile game example for the castle. Now this right here, prior to the dot, is the folder name. So if we, I'm going to go ahead and open the config folder up in a different window. And if we go up back to the scripts directory, we can see that mobilegame.castlegame, that's actually going to be a class. So mobile game, class is castle game, right there. and then from this castle game, it's going to realize, oh hey, our player controller class is castle PC, which is located right here. So we're going to change this to my game, which is the name of our folder. Oop. Right here. And then inside there we have my PC and excuse me, my game info, because my game info is our game class that we're using. So my game info. Let's just copy and paste this in wherever we see mobile game .castle game. So you've and then save this. So you've replaced these 3 lines right here. Now there's a significant amount of other options right here which you can remove and kind of, I guess, decrease the size of your config or kind of clean it up a little, but doesn't really matter for the sake of this tutorial. It changes the player name. The config is not mission critical. You can expect the player to come in here and change something, and it shouldn't crash the game necessarily or allow him to cheat. So that's all we need to modify.